She's the mortgage mom. She can get things done when you're in need and don't know where to go. Pick up the phone and call mom.
I'm Debbie Marcoux, and I am the Mortgage Mom. I'm licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Business Consumer Services and Housing Agency, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona, 0941504. Florida, LO 76508. Georgia, 69178. Hawaii, 237926. Idaho, MLO 2080237926. Illinois, 031.0058339. Nevada, 57237. North Carolina, I210940. Oregon, Tennessee, 184373. Texas, Washington, MLO 237926. Hi, I'm Debbie Marcoux, the Mortgage Mom. Have you been waiting to get a debt consolidation done? You want to refinance, you want to pay off your debts, you want to do some home improvement. Maybe you've had your plans on hold forever. You want to sell, you want to move, you want to downsize, you need to upgrade, but you have been waiting for these interest rates to come down. Well, now is your chance. The Federal Reserve just cut interest rates by 0.25% today. They're talking about doing this again, possibly up to 3 times by the end of 2025. So this is your chance to give me a call, to reach out, to talk to me about your goals, and to get things started. How do you do that? Well, you call my office. It's 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. You can also head on over to my website at mortgagemomradio.com. I do have a contact us button there, or send me an email to debbie@mortgagemomradio.com. Talk to y'all real soon. Bye-bye. All right, so welcome to Mortgage Mom Radio. I'm Debbie Marcoux. I am the Mortgage Mom. And today I'm going to move this down a little bit so I'm more in the center. Today, I would like to talk about investment properties. I have had quite a few clients recently reaching out to me about possibly selling the investment property that they have in California, or maybe they're a first-time investor and they're trying to figure out, where should they buy their next property. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about 1031 exchange, where many of my clients have been choosing to move their money and repurchase investments, and in what states, where, and why, what is actually giving us the best cash flow, and why are they making the decisions that they're making to actually sell those properties that they have in California. So that is what today's show is going to be about. If you have questions, as always, I welcome you to put your questions into the chat and please ask away. If it is a question that has nothing to do with today's topic, that is absolutely okay. This is a very open show, and I am here to give any education, knowledge, or information that I can possibly pass along that may be beneficial to you. So let's first talk about, why would people choose not to buy an investment property in California, or possibly want to sell the investment property that they have and move it elsewhere? What is going on in California? So as I am sure that most of you have heard, the tenant laws in California and the landlord laws in California can be very strict, and they are very heavily sided to the tenant more than the landlord or the owner of the property. So I did a really quick Google search just to give you guys an idea of what you get from AI when you pull something up on Google. And all I put in was tenant laws, California. And what it says specifically came up. That's all I gave it, was AI overview. California tenants have robust protections, including statewide rent caps, lower of 10% or 5% plus local CPI, just cause eviction requirements, and a 21-day deadline for security deposit returns. Landlords must maintain habitable premises, and new 2026 laws, AB 628 or 628, and SB 610 mandate working refrigerators, stoves, and rent refunds during mandatory disaster-related evictions. Evacuations. So it's just there's a lot that is very, very heavily weighted towards the tenant and rules that are in place that really do favor that tenant. So for example, if you wanted to sell your rental property, there is a very good chance that you are going to be giving your tenant a good amount of money to be able to relocate if the person that is buying the unit is planning to live in it and they need to move elsewhere. So I'm not going to get too far into the law of all of those, rental guidelines, because that is something that you really should talk with a real estate attorney about. But I am sure it is something that you have heard or you are experiencing or have experienced if you own rental properties in California. So what are people doing? Where are they going? How are they getting rid of rental properties? And what are they buying? Or for that first-time investor that's wanting to jump into the market, they want to start building their wealth and their portfolio, and they want to add an additional property to the mix, where should they be looking? So there are many, many states out there that have, more favorable guidelines and, less restrictions than California. I've had many clients that have purchased rental properties in states such as Texas, Florida, Arizona, Nevada. So obviously, again, you need to do the research. I am not a real estate attorney to tell you which location is the best location to go to. But there are quite a few that would have, more favorable rules and less restrictions for a landlord. Now, where are my clients going, right? Where are they finding cash flow, and how are they doing it so that they don't sell their property and end up with a huge tax burden? So let's talk first about 1031 exchange and then what they're doing. So as we all know, if you own an investment property in California, California is through the roof right now as far as property value, just absolutely insane. I would say that the average priced home that I am helping clients with throughout most of Southern California is about $900,000. And that's it's sad and it's great all at the same time, right? If you own a home, you live there, you bought your home 5+ years ago, you've got a bunch of equity built up, you're super excited that your property's gone up in value. And so that makes that, really good for you that California properties do hold their value and they've been appreciating and continue to do so. However, if you're looking to go and buy, an investment property, trying to enter the market at a $900,000 average price range for a single family home can be very difficult. Now, if you already own a single family home, and this could go for duplexes, triplexes, 4 units and up. So please don't, think that I'm talking just single family, but I'm referencing more of a single family price range, right? So if you have a property now that you're thinking about selling and you only owe maybe $500,000 on it, you bought that property for, $450,000 or $500,000 when you originally got it. You maybe lived in it at the beginning, turned it into a rental, went and bought yourself another home. All great, right? But what do you do about that money in equity that if you sell it, you're going to get taxed on, because now this is an investment property that should be on your tax returns that you've been taking depreciation every year on. So how do you get around those tax implications? So that is where a 1031 exchange comes in. And a lot of people do misunderstand how an exchange works. They think, well, if I bought a home before for $500,000, I need to go and buy another property for $500,000, or I only have a loan of $500,000. I just need to get another loan for $500,000. That's not actually how it works. So whatever you sell the property for is what you have to make a like for like exchange. So if you sell for $900,000 or even $1 million or $750,000, whatever that number is, when you buy another property, you need to buy for the same price. So if you sell for 900, you need to buy for 900. So then a lot of times clients get a little bit like, eek, I don't know if I want to buy something that expensive. However, you are not limited to just making one purchase to fill that goal. So let's just say, for example, that you sell the property, you sell it for $1 million to keep it a round number. You owe 500 on it, and we all know there's fees and everything, but let's just keep things very, very simple while I'm here in studio, and you walk away with 500,000. Well, you sold for $1 million. So you need to go buy 1, 2, or 3 more properties that are going to all equal $1 million. So I've got a good amount of clients right now that are doing just that. They're making 400,000, 600,000 on these investments, and they're turning around and they're buying 2 and 3 more properties to fulfill the total sales price that is required to not get taxed on that, on that money as capital gains that they took out of the property that they sold. And they now have, instead of 1 investment property, they have 2 or 3 investment properties that are making them money every month. So that is a very good way to go about that. 1031 exchanges are absolutely amazing. We have got some incredible 1031 exchange companies that we have worked with in the past. So if you need some help, you need somebody to call, you want to get very, very specific on what the 1031 exchange guidelines, rules are, what it costs, and all of those things, I can absolutely put you in touch with somebody. So please don't hesitate to reach out and ask me for some contacts, and I'd be happy to provide those to you. So where are people going? Right? That's the next thing, is that everything in the United States of America is expensive. But obviously we know that California is one of the highest markets that there are. So where am I seeing most people go? So for a very, very long time, I would say during the years of 2018 to 2022, I was seeing a lot of money being put into Texas. Then that kind of changed a bit, and I saw a lot of money getting put into Nevada. Now that has changed. So here recently, I would say over the last 12 months, I'd say over the last year to 18 months or so, I have seen quite a few purchases going into Arizona, specifically into Arizona that is near college campuses, like such as ASU or Tempe. And again, there are quite a few people that have done that too in Texas, going near the college campuses. So you have to select, obviously, the area that you want to be in and where you want to bring your investment property. But that has actually seemed to be the very best cash flow most recently that we have seen. So to give you an example, if you buy a property, let's say for 600,000, and I'm just going to throw that out there. And let's say that you put 25% down payment on that 600,000. You are going to have a mortgage payment that is going to be roughly in the range of about $3,200 ish. Okay. And I say ish, and I'm not giving you exact numbers because interest rates change, homeowners insurance quotes change, property taxes change depending on where you're looking, right? So in Arizona, property taxes are significantly less expensive than they are in California. Now, California property taxes are significantly less expensive than they are in Texas. So I'm just giving you examples currently. But right now, where it seems to be the super hot market seems to be around college campuses, such as ASU in Tempe. So what they're doing is that they're buying these investment properties. They sold for $1 million. They cashed out $500,000. They're putting 25% down. They're buying something for $600,000, and they're getting 2, if not 3 more properties, depending on how far that we can stretch the proceeds and, into the down payments. Now, those mortgage payments, if they're somewhere between 32, 36, 3,000, somewhere in that range, those are very, very well offset because in those areas around those college campuses, those homes are renting fully furnished, but one bedroom at a time, because you've got the college right there. So you've got kids that are renting these rooms and their parents that are renting the rooms who are on the lease, who are making the payments, and they're paying somewhere in the range of about $1,000 a month per room. So for a $600,000 or a $650 purchase price in Tempe, you could buy a 4 or 5 bedroom property. So if you've got a 5-bedroom property and you're renting them for $1,000 a month, you've got $5,000 in rents. And I'm giving you guys, very conservative numbers here. You've got a mortgage payment that's somewhere between $3,000 and $3,500 or $3,600, depending on what price range that you buy. But that is a really, really good return. Now you've got $1,500 a month or so in a return. Now you've got 2 properties doing that, and you're bringing home a return of about $3,000 a month after all is said and done with the mortgage, property taxes, and insurance. So that is where we've seen some really good cash flow lately. We've seen that around for a very, very long time. That's actually been kind of a strategic investment that many people have made over time. But obviously the area, the state, and where the college campus is located determines what the prices are. So obviously if you were to try to go and buy something around a Harvard or a Stanford, those homes are going to be significantly more expensive and not, really something that you could be, really cash flowing from. But if you start looking and you look really hard, you can find not only a state that's going to have a little bit better tenant laws, but an opportunity to multiply what you have today. So if you've only got 1 rental property today, there's a very good chance that you could end up with 2 or with 3. If you have never bought a rental property and you're looking to jump into the market, I would highly suggest that you look into all of the rent rules, restrictions for landlords and tenants before you decide that California is the place that you want to buy that rental property. Now, I can tell you that there can be some really great investment opportunities in California, and I'm not telling you to absolutely disregard that. But I can tell you that with the new laws that are being passed, that are coming into place into 2026, it is absolutely making it more and more difficult to either sell it when you're ready and be able to give tenants a notice to move, not have to give them money to help relocate them in things such as disasters like a fire, that we just had maybe a little over a year ago, last January. That could be very devastating for a landlord. So definitely do your homework and figure out where you want to go or where you want to be, whether it's your first investment or you want to start moving investments out. But again, I am absolutely happy to give you any knowledge that I have. If you have any questions, please reach out. If you'd like the information for my 1031 exchange company, more than happy to give you that. We've got numerous companies that we've worked with over the years, so I can give you, more than one. I could give you 2 or 3 different places to call so that you can ask questions and find out who you feel the most comfortable with. But definitely something that you can do and a way to enhance your portfolio. I don't see any questions coming in at all on today's show, so I am going to run a quick commercial. If I don't see any questions by the time that I come back, I'm going to wrap up this episode for you. But I would absolutely love to help you guys. Go to my website, mortgagemomradio.com. If you like my show, you like that I bring you different topics every week, and you'd like to get on live, ask your questions, make sure that you do text the word live, LIVE, to 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. So here we go. We're going to run a quick commercial and then we'll shut down the show if I don't see any questions come through. This is Debbie Marcoux, the Mortgage Mom. I just wanted to remind you that when you think of something that you need in real estate or mortgage, to think about Mortgage Mom Radio. We can help you with your purchase, your sale, your refinance, your home equity line of credit, reverse mortgage, hard money, construction, you name it, we're here to help. So give us a call. It's 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND LEND, and the number 4. Or head on over to my website at mortgagemomradio.com.
She's the mortgage mom. She can get things done when you're in need and don't know where to go. Pick up the phone and call mom.
I'm Debbie Marcoux, and I am the Mortgage Mom. I'm licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Business Consumer Services and Housing Agency, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida LO 76508, Georgia 69178, Hawaii 237926, Idaho MLO 208-023-7926, Illinois 031.005-8339, Nevada 57237, North Carolina I-210940, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237